Troy, the epic history of Achilles, Hector, and the Trojan horse. In the sands of time rose Troy, a city of legendary walls forged by gods and mortals. At the heart of this story is Helen of Sparta, the face that launched 1,000 ships. Despite her marriage to Menelaus, king of Sparta, Helen was either abducted or seduced and fled with Paris, prince of Troy. Menelaus, betrayed and enraged, called upon his brother Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae, to rally the Greek kings. The Greek coalition was a who's who of legendary heroes: cunning Odysseus, mighty Ajax, and above all Achilles, a warrior so fearsome he was said to be nearly invincible. Achilles, the son of a mortal king and the sea goddess Thetis, was blessed and cursed by prophecy. He would achieve eternal glory, but only at the cost of his life. The Greeks set sail, a vast armada driven by pride, vengeance, and destiny. For 10 long years they laid siege to Troy, whose defenders matched their courage and cunning. At the heart of Troy's defense stood Hector, son of King Priam. A warrior of unmatched valor, he fought not for fame, but for his family, his people, and his city. The war was a spectacle of gods and men, with Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite taking sides and their rivalries shaping the tides of battle. The Greek hero Achilles loomed like a storm on the battlefield. With his divine armor and unmatched skill, he was unstoppable until his pride led to a fateful rift. Achilles clashed with Agamemnon, who insulted him by seizing his war prize, Briseis. Furious, Achilles withdrew from battle, leaving the Greek forces to struggle in his absence. Hector seized the opportunity, leading the Trojans in a counterattack that pushed the Greeks back to their ships. The defenders of Troy believed the gods favored them. But the war turned personal when Patroclus, Achilles' beloved companion, donned his armor to rally the Greeks. Mistaken for Achilles, Patroclus fell to Hector's spear. Grief consumed Achilles. His sorrow turned to fury, and his return to battle was inevitable. He sought not just victory, but vengeance, an unrelenting wrath that shook the earth. The clash between Hector and Achilles was a moment of destiny, a meeting of 2 worlds. Hector stood outside Troy's gates, knowing he faced death, yet refusing to flee. Their duel was a symphony of steel and willpower, with Hector fighting valiantly, but Achilles proving unstoppable. It was not just a fight, it was a tragedy. Achilles struck the fatal blow, and Hector fell. The greatest defender of Troy lay lifeless, his body desecrated as Achilles dragged it behind his chariot in furious triumph. Priam, Hector's father, did what no man dared. He entered Achilles' camp unarmed and begged for his son's body. Achilles, touched by Priam's courage and grief, returned Hector's body. For a brief moment, humanity pierced through the veil of war. Hector's funeral was a somber affair, a reminder of the fragility of heroism. But the war was far from over, and Troy's fate still hung in the balance. Achilles himself was not immune to fate. Paris, Hector's brother, aided by the god Apollo, shot an arrow that struck Achilles in his heel, the only part of him vulnerable. With Achilles dead, the Greeks grew desperate. Victory seemed unattainable until Odysseus devised the plan that would doom Troy. The Greeks constructed a colossal wooden horse, hollow inside and filled with soldiers. They left it at Troy's gates as a supposed offering to the gods before feigning retreat. The Trojans, weary of war and eager to celebrate, pulled the horse into their city. That night, as the revelry reached its height, Greek warriors emerged from within. The gates of Troy were opened, and the waiting Greek army poured in. The city that had stood against a decade-long siege was consumed in flames and slaughter. King Priam was killed, the royal family scattered, and Troy's once great walls were reduced to rubble. The city was no more. In the end, Helen was reunited with Menelaus. Her role in the war remains shrouded in ambiguity. Was she a victim, a seductress, or something in between? While Troy has fallen, its story endures. Achilles' rage and Hector's honor, symbolizing the eternal struggle between vengeance and virtue. The Trojan horse, a symbol of cunning over brute force, continues to captivate imaginations as the ultimate tale of deception. And so, Troy remains eternal, a city that lives on not in ruins, but in the hearts and minds of those who tell and retell its epic tale.